and welcome to Reaction Shots, the movie and TV and whatever else podcast. Just movies and TV, I guess. We might talk about books. I am joined, of course, by Matthew Walden.
Hi there. This fan is about to decapitate me.
I know, yeah.
Like that scene in Temple of Doom.
Oh, yeah.
Raiders? Temple of Doom.
One of
Temple
the first
Doom,
three.
100%.
Yeah.
Where he gets hit by a fan.
He like throws the whip into the fan.
Oh,
the
yeah,
guy...
strangles the guy.
Yeah.
I think that's Temple of Doom. Yeah, I think that's Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
And, of course, Michael Huber.
Hello.
This month we are talking about the late, great Carl Weathers and the golden age of TV. And as usual, everything counts. There are no rules. I loosely said up to maybe season 4 of Lost, because that's when we enter prestige television.
That's funny.
Though there are no rules, and I don't care. Anything that people brought up on patreon.com/reaction shots is fair game, and we're going to talk about it.
Excellent.
But before we get into that, we're going to talk about what we've seen lately, what we've liked lately, and what you didn't like lately. I guess you don't have to like it, but
Nice.
Matthew, you see anything lately?
I watched Drive Away Dolls, and
I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
Don't know where I landed on that one entirely. I think it was on the barely liked, if there was a scale of didn't like,
Barely liked,
to
okay.
barely liked.
Just squeaked by.
Yeah. It was cute enough, and a pass fail is a pass. But it was set in Tallahassee, Florida, where I live currently.
Nice.
It was in 1999, which is when I went to college in Tallahassee, Florida, and then all of us went away to better parts of the country, and for different reasons, a lot of us have found ourselves back here in Tallahassee, Florida, by circumstance. And so a big group of us who lived here in 1999 went to go watch Drive Away Dolls, which is set here in 1999 in the theater all together. There was like 15 of us. And
That's
so it was
awesome.
very relatable. We were like, that's from
vibe.
1999. That's from Tallahassee in 1999. And so I think that definitely increased us liking this movie. It's kind of like it's a lesbian road trip movie that's kind of rough around the edges in terms of it's like very loose. Like, it's not very tight. It's not a super polished movie, but that makes it fun. It's not like it could use a few more drafts if you get that impression, or like it could have I don't know. It didn't seem like the best Coen brothers ever. I know it's only Ethan Coen, but it's also his wife,
like partner who is queer.
Yeah.
I was reading a little bit about it, but then I stopped because I wanted to watch the movie before reading further. But the history and backstory there sounds really interesting to me. Like, she kind of co-wrote, maybe co-directed this movie.
She edited it, that's for sure. I know she definitely edited it, which is cool. And so there are a lot of fun things about it. It's got a good, charming spirit to it. It's not a home run, but I'd still see it. It's like
a
lot of fun moments. Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. I said it gets onto second base at the end of the movie. I said, yeah.
It's a nice hit, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's something.
So I saw that. Yeah, I recommend it. It's a good fun time. Not an A+, but a good fun time. Nice. And then I saw Murmurs, an Agnes Varda movie at home. My wife picked that out for me to watch together. She's an amazing French director who I've fallen in love with over the last 4 or 5 years, and I feel embarrassed that I was not watching her in high school, because she pretty much invented the French New Wave. And when I was in high school, I was watching Godard and Truffaut and all these people who are making amazing, great movies who shaped my taste, and I was like, these people revolutionized cinema. And obviously Agnes Varda did too, and she should have been coming out of my mouth like every second telling people like how amazing she was. But because guys just get put more prominently in the history books, she wasn't mentioned as often, and I didn't care to look her up. So that's on me.
There's a big display on her at the Academy Museum here in LA, or there was. I don't know how often they rotate these things through, but it was interesting. I haven't seen a lot of her stuff either. I have always wanted to, and I know Criterion Channel has like all kinds of her stuff.
I have yet to be disappointed by a single movie of hers I've seen. They've all been incredible. Cleo from 5 to 7 is her probably most famous movie. That's a great one to start with. But Murmurs is a great one I just watched. That is about the murals in Los Angeles, which are everywhere if you're in Los Angeles, just kind of paintings on the side of buildings everywhere. And she interviews the people who painted them and the neighborhoods that they take place in. And she has this great way of just staging interviews so that they're not boring. Everyone is doing something in the interviews, like they're marching or they're crawling up walls or just something fascinating is happening. So a documentary is not just someone sitting there. Like you're going to have a great time watching them. They're just adorable and meaningful. And she has her stamp all over every movie she makes. Highly recommend it if you live in Los Angeles, because you're going to like drive by something and go, oh, that was from her movie. Now I know why it's there. It's great. And then I watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I watched that too. That was on my list.
Yeah, what did you think about
it?
You first.
I liked it. I thought it did some unexpected things. You know, I kind of knew the pitch and kind of knew it was sort of an inversion of the movie, you know, in some ways. I thought it tackled relationships in a really interesting way. And like, the performances are really good. The time jumping around stuff at first was a little jarring, but then once I got used to that's what they were doing, you know, I was like, oh, okay. Like, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, we're here already. Like, got it. All right. Like, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. And I thought it was like well shot and the action was pretty good generally. Yeah. Did you hate it?
No. I liked it. Huber, did you see this?
No.
You would dig this, Huber. You would dig this.
Yeah, you would.
I saw the movie.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I saw the Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie one, and so I thought this was just going to be
theaters.
Like funny jokes and a few shootouts, and I thought, no, this definitely is a different tone. It gets a little bit intense at times in terms of like relationship shit. Like it goes deep, and it's a little uncomfortable. But I think
while still being funny too, I would say.
Yeah. It's definitely got jokes still. But I like where it landed. Yeah, it's good. It's worth watching. Amazon Prime. I think it's like 8 episodes. Parker Posey is in it. John Turturro is in it.
Parker Posey.
I mean, that's enough right there to watch anything.
Yeah. Ron Perlman guest stars in one of the episodes. Like a lot of... Parker Posey was like maybe my favorite guest star.
So good.
Yeah.
She was in like they did a Walking Dead spinoff anthology one. So she was only in like one episode, but it was by far the best because she's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Her character in this and her like husband or whatever are so just like, I don't know. They're cool. You should watch it.
My roommate in college and I, Parker Posey, she was in this movie called House of Yes, and there's this line she says in it. She goes, "You're gonna snub our nation's capital." She's talking about Washington D.C. We used to always say that to each other. You're gonna snub our nation's capital. Anyway, Parker Posey is wonderful. I've never seen that. In everything she does. Oh, House of Yes.
I've never seen that movie. It's like icky. A trilogy, right?
I think it's just it might be. I don't know. As far as I know, it's just one movie. It was like one of those indie movies back in the late 90s, early 2000s where they do like a kind of hot button issue where they try to like push buttons and you're like, I don't know if I want to go here. But Parker Posey's in it and she's great. How about you all? What have you seen?
What have you seen lately, Hubie?
A lot of TV right now. Curry Enthusiasm final season, very funny.
It's good.
Very good.
It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, it's good.
Yeah, it feels really.
I was thinking of Faye Graham and those, like, which I've never seen, like Henry Fool and Faye Graham. which are like a trilogy about a family. I don't know. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Curb is super funny. Feels like a greatest hits. You know, it feels like they're doing everything I want out of a final season, where it's like bringing in, you know, classic characters. He's getting in classic situations, and like it's just very familiar. And it's a building towards something very, very funny, and it's always like pretty relevant too. You know, he's dealing with like race, and the election in this season is kind of the primary. It's so good though. I watched the newest one last night and I was like dying of laughter. It's so funny.
When he was recommending first names.
The names, dude.
Dude's baby. Yeah.
Oh my god.
How about Foots? You don't like Foots?
Ziggy Zeckelman or whatever. Oh, so good.
Ziggy Zeckelman.
Oh, I love Larry David. I love Curb. Walking Dead, Rick Grimes is fucking back. And it is so good. I've waited like 6 years for the return of one of the most iconic television characters in the business. Rick Grimes is back. And a little 6-episode miniseries. And, you know, the stakes were so high. It's like, yo, where's Rick Ben? Like, we've had teases during spinoffs and other things. So we kind of knew where he was, but it's like, dude, if Rick is like leaving his family behind, there better be a damn good reason why he's been missing for so many years, like in universe. And it was really good. So I'm very pleased about where Walking Dead is right now. There's been like 2 episodes. First one was mainly Rick. Second one was mainly Michonne. So it's like catching everyone up to like where they both have been. And then now it's like, all right, 4 more to go. So hyped.
Were you a
And
comics
it's called
person?
Rick Grimes.
What's up?
Oh, go ahead, Isla.
It's called Rick Grimes. That's
It's called
just what it's called.
It's called Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live.
Oh, okay.
It's like one of their slogans. It's like, who do you want to be, Rick? Who are we? Who do we want to be? We're the ones who live. So
We're the good
epic.
guys, Michael. Yeah.
It's so epic.
What were you gonna say, man?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were one of the comics people, you know, who got into
Only like the very early, like the very beginning. My good friend in like middle school, high school told me about it when it first came out, and I remember reading like the very beginning of it, but then I fell off. And then I've seen, you know, every episode of every single show in this universe. I am obsessed.
Oh, cool. So then it still gets to be a surprise for you when you're watching.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Because now I know some big things in the comics that they changed, but there's still room to like adapt those things. But now we're like we're past it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this show now is like many, 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 many years after. So super cool. So
Are
good.
they still making the comics? They're not, right?
I think they did like a spin-off little mini-series pretty recently. They did like a separately from Kirkman, they did a Clementine one. From the game they did her.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. I always want her to come to live action. Like that needs to happen.
she's
That'd be
cool.
so sick.
Man, that was a good game.
Saw Zone of Interest finally with my dad.
Okay. Ooh.
God, we loved it. We
I still
fucking
haven't
loved
had the
it.
guts, man. But I learned how it was shot, and I'm like astonished, and I really want to see it. Now
What's
we're
that?
at too.
Walking out of the theater like though, because my wife and I, when we watch that at home, we just kind of you don't have much to say. You just have like quiet moments, together
Definitely.
where you're just like,
Definitely one of those movies where you sit in the theater until the lights come back on.
exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's
Just
tough.
kinda-
It's tough.
Yeah. It is.
There's this move, an interesting move narratively that happens where the perspective shifts
Definitely.
a little, and
Definitely.
it is so powerful in that
It
film.
is.
It's so powerful, and it definitely kind of takes the air out of you a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I love the balance of like really it's such a quiet, slow movie, but then there are these moments, these like little kind of like montage moments that kind of like move the movie along and just like not give it energy, but just like help it move a little better, you know, because it is very just like dry, static, like silent movie based, like not a lot of music. So
Yeah.
just heavy duty. Jonathan
I was
Glazer.
reading about how they did it, and like, and I haven't seen it yet, but like, just set up cameras and mics and stuff all over the house, and everything was happening actually simultaneously, and like they were just like
Crazy.
acting and doing it like in real time, and I was like,
That is so
I
nuts.
love that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
I have wanted to conceive of a project like that. Like Sophia and I went and saw the Q&A for Coherence a while ago, and like that was improvised over 5 days, you know, and I loved the ideas of, I don't suppose this was improvised, but like I just love creative filmmaking like that. It's so interesting to me.
It was
Jonathan Glazer, dude,
improvised.
like,
a-
under
Oh,
the
it
skin,
is.
Isla.
Yeah.
a little
Under
bit.
the skin. Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of the cameras just rolled for a long time and a scene would end, and they were back in a video village separate from a lot of the actors, and they didn't know what to do. The director
Yeah.
didn't yell cut, and so the actors were like, I guess we just run the scene again, and then that would just happen over and over again. And they're like, okay, nobody's giving
So
us
crazy.
instructions. We'll just keep running the scenes for hours, and that would just
Yeah.
Oh my
go on.
God.
Yeah.
It is
we'll
like
just pretend we're the
such-
characters all day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It is such
insane.
a-
That's
like
so
a-
intense.
It's like just quietly the darkest, like most disturbing. Casually disturbing is the way
Yeah.
to describe this movie.
Which
Definitely worth a watch. 100%.
I think that sounds like a very powerful tool to get that message across, you know? Like I saw Dune 2, and I'll talk about that, but without spoiling much, but I think that it maybe made the point land a little harder than the book did at the time for people. Although I did see some people being like, I think it's a little inappropriate to put Rebecca Ferguson in like Middle Eastern garb and have her dress up as like a
I
religious
saw
figure.
on the
And it's
press
like,
tour they were
it's
they were
like-
saying that too about Anya Taylor-Joy.
well, I mean, that's a different thing because she's in real life. But like in the movie, I'm like, that's the fucking point of the movie, dog. Like, that. Welcome to the point of the movie. But yeah,
Lastly, the absolute best thing of 2024, without a doubt, it's not even close. Shogun.
oh yeah, I haven't started it yet. I've heard it's incredible.
I don't even want to say anything because it's just like the best, and you just as soon as this is over, put it on. Like
Sophie and I
there's
might start it tonight. Yeah.
yeah, there is nothing better. This is 10 out of 10. This is peak TV. This is the reason to have Hulu. Like, this is the fucking best. There's been 2 episodes. Third one is coming up. There's going to be 10. It's a limited series based
Love
on
that.
the book. The best. The best. Absolute best. That's all.
Yeah, I heard someone was telling me a thing that happened in the book, and I was just like, that sounds gruesome.
It's so badass. It's so badass.
I've heard it's like one of the more like authentic
I
representations.
mean, they speak
of-
Japanese pretty much the
Yeah.
entire time. So
Yeah, that's so cool.
So good. Oh, and I started watching Tokyo Vice again. That's back. But I've only
yeah.
seen the first one. I'm behind. There's like 4 more for this season that I haven't seen.
Totally.
The first season, I wanted to like so much, but the main 2 protagonists were so unlikable. And sometimes I can get behind that. A lot of times I can get
Yeah.
behind that in a movie.
I feel
but it's
that. I
hard
feel
with a
that.
show that's kind of long, you know, to like
Totally.
sit there and chill for like 16 hours with protagonists who you don't just
Totally.
like aren't endearing in some type of
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
I just really like the way that show's filmed, like on location.
Yeah,
The
it's
sickest
filmed
spots
great.
you've
The location.
ever seen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like worth it
It's
just for
great.
that, to like see the places, because they make a point to like have food in like a different spot every 10 minutes. They're like eating somewhere sick. It's like
It's
awesome.
like Final Fantasy 15 wasn't a great game, but you want to see what they cook at the campfires. Yeah.
Great comparison. How about you, Isla? What have you seen?
I caught up on the Holdovers.
Nice.
Watched that on the plane to Hawaii.
yeah.
I really liked it. Astonished by his prosthetic like lazy eye thing that they did, like. Because I was thinking, I was like, Paul Giamatti doesn't have a lazy eye, does he? You know, and then I saw him in the Criterion closet, and he doesn't. And so I looked it up, and he was like, "Oh yeah, no, that's just a thing I had to wear." And I'm like, "That sounds awful," but that movie was really sweet. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith I watched. True Dicks we haven't talked about on the show yet.
Dicks.
Do you recommend?
No,
No thumbs down. Not good. Not good.
and like.
Terrible.
It caught a lot
down.
of shit in the expected ways because it's women.
No, it's just a bad fucking
It's just
show.
not a good show. It's
I don't give a fuck about anything other than that show's just terrible, Isla.
Right. But I mean, like, I think a lot of people were being unfairly critical of it for like stupid reasons. It's just not very good. Like
It's not good.
The things don't really hang together, and like the nods to season 1 were sort of ham-fisted, I thought. And like the characters, like, you can have a mystery, you know, and you can withhold information about your characters even, like, you know, a lot of times there is mystery in character, but you have to give me something to actually care about. And you have to explain at least a little bit why your characters are all such dicks. Because if you don't, I'm not going to like them, and I'm not going to care what's happening to them, and I'm not going to be invested in the clunky little mystery you got going on. And yeah, so I was pretty disappointed with True Dicks. I was pretty excited at first, but it sort of started to lose me in episodes like 2 and 3, and then it just
felt
kind of
like a parody, Isla.
Yeah.
Seriously, like every single scene felt so staged. And like, okay, now we're doing like this spooky scene, and now we're gonna have like this little like every scene somehow felt like they were making a show. Like I was never immersed. I was never immersed once.
It's like it's the show version of I Caught You Acting.
Yeah,
like, I caught you showing.
Gosh.
I caught you being a show. Well, and it sucks that I don't like it because I do not want to be on the same wavelength as like all the haters, and even the original creator of True Dicks is being like a real dumbass about it.
Really?
He's just kind of a dick, I think. But like, he just says kind of like, even if you don't like it, like, be chill. Like it's still your franchise.
Constructive criticism, please.
Don't shit talk it while like it's on episode 2, you know?
Yeah.
He was like going on Instagram. He's like, well, you can't blame me, you know? And it just like fanned the flames of like the misogyny and shit happening. Yeah. And I'm just like, yo, dude, have some chill. Like have some fucking, like, Issa Lopez, you know, I'm thrilled that this story is being told, and like that showrunners and creators are like this are getting a swing at it. And thankfully, like mediocre white men like Nick Palazzo, she's getting another swing at it because it got renewed for season 5.
Which is crazy to me because it was terrible. This is like my most hated show in years.
I mean, True Detective season 2 is the worst thing television wise. Like
at least 2 I could laugh at with you, Isla. At least I could laugh at it. This was just like, I don't care.
2 was. This was, I don't think, as bad. 2 was worse than this by far, I think. By far. But yeah, this was the most watched season of the show with 12.7 million viewers across platforms.
Crazy.
And she'll make more content for HBO. And like, I don't think she's bad. I just think that
Tigers Are Not Afraid is a 10 out of 10 movie. That is a absolute 10.
That movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think this was a miss, but like none of it was like season 2 of True Detective was like everything about it was actively terrible. Like it didn't even look that good. This one at least had some cool cinematic stuff going on. It just needed some more time in the script phase, I think, and the character development phase. Anyways, last night I went to the Grauman's Chinese Theater and saw Dune 2.
IMAX?
IMAX, the whole shebang.
Oh yeah.
70 millimeter.
Hell yeah.
Crazy ass sound system. Have you not been to the Grauman's Chinese?
Not in a while, no.
The main one? They redid it a few years back, but
I don't think I've been there since the redo.
It's good.
I was an ArcLight.
The sound system is insane.
I was an ArcLight loyalist. I would
That's
go
true.
nowhere as ArcLight all the time.
Yeah.
How was my adopted dad, Christopher Walken? Did he do a good job?
He did a fine job. The kind of consensus between everyone
Fuck,
I've
I didn't
heard
even know
talk
he was
about.
in it. What the fuck?
He's in the trailers and the posters
Really?
and stuff.
Oh, I've been.
And I'm not going to get spoilery. I'm not going to say anything spoilery. But the consensus I've heard from everyone, including all the people I saw it with, is miscast. Like you can't.
Oh, really?
You can't not see Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
I mean, that's him in everything. He never disappears into a role. He's
right.
Hi, I'm Christopher Walken.
He used to, but yeah, and this one he's just like, hey, I'm the emperor of the whole goddamn universe. Hey, who's this Mao Dib guy? Oh, it's not what Christopher Walken sounds like. I don't know what I was doing, but
I thought he was on the show for a second. That was great.
Mao Dib, Lasad El Ghaib. Over here.
People who are only listening, he's actually on the show right now.
He's here, yeah. That was Christopher Walken. See you, Chris. Anyway, it's a complicated. Obviously, Dune is complicated. I loved it, and it was complicated. My expectations were very, very, very high.
Highest possible.
Yeah. I'm interested to hear what you think of it.
Okay.
We could talk more about it later once more people have had a chance, because I know it just came out.
It's fucking the IMAX now. It's so tough. Like every show is sold out forever. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I wish I could sit next to another human that I don't know, but I can't. I can't do it. Physically can't.
I know what you mean,
dude.
I sit like this.
Yeah, I just can't. I was just like, I can't.
Dude, that was one thing I will say, because it was electric. It really felt like being back in the movies,
Dope.
which hasn't happened since Endgame.
Yeah.
But the negative to that was that Sophia and I were both commenting on this. I have never seen so many people getting up to go pee and walking around and going back out and getting food and stuff. It was nigh constant
commotion
through almost the whole movie. People weren't being rude, they weren't talking, they weren't being disruptive.
Getting up.
But it was just people getting up and leaving constantly. And I've heard a few other people in their screenings too where that happened. And I wonder if it's because the way this movie feels, it's kind of just dreamlike and
sure,
kind of more disjointed in time than the first one. So people aren't even sure when to get up and go to the bathroom, because there aren't scene breaks. Some sort of, I mean, obviously there are, but anytime there's a scene break, you don't want to miss what's about to happen. So you never, so you kind of just go. I don't know. So
funny.
People were just restless or something. I don't think they were bored, but they were just
yeah,
constantly walking around. It was absurd.
probably because it's 2 hours 45.
Yeah.
Also, they go in with the expectation that they're gonna have to get up once, maybe.
Yeah.
So everyone's just ready. It's all right, here's my one time. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I don't get up. I just suffer for the art.
Yeah, you
Even
gotta
if
suffer.
it's a bad movie. No.
Yeah. Sometimes
Destroy your body.
if I'm with someone I trust, I'll go, and they can just in a 3-second one sentence thing be like,
Yeah.
7 words max.
You just
yeah.
we just found out he's the bad guy or some shit yeah.
It was when I was in because the Grauman's Chinese, you got to go downstairs for the women's bathroom. I don't know where the men's is, but it's a trek, and we were on the other side of the theater, so I had to go all the way through the lobby and downstairs. And it's cool down there. It's the whole floor, the whole area down there is the women's bathroom, and there's a lounge and everything. It's very old school. There was a woman in there who I think had someone else in the theater call her phone. Whoa. Because I was in the stall, and I was I can still hear the movie.
That is
and then
bizarre.
And then this woman was she got done around the same time I did, and she was washing her hands and had the phone next to her, and it was well, those are the characters talking, and I was kind of well, this is kind of cool. I didn't miss anything. I was honestly, kind of. If you could do it without being disruptive somehow.
If you're in the very last row or something, that's pretty badass.
Walkie-talkies.
The movie.
Shit.
Yeah. FaceTime the movie. But yeah, it's doing well. Like it's tracking. It's got 182 million worldwide so far. I was trying to find the budget, but I don't see that here. But yeah, it's doing well. Good opening weekend. It's funny because Mr. Sunday Movies, I think, said the same thing, but like when we were in the theater and there were trailers and stuff, it was like a bunch of big bangers for trailers, and then this movie, and I was just like, movies are back. Like we're back. And it like felt like we were back.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know. I hope that that's true.
Sick.
All right, let's move on to this is where the news section is gonna go. We're gonna do brief.
Do we have
news.
a bumper?
No. Reaction shots news daily.
We also did the hand movement.
If we time it all, if we do it at the same time and do from left to right on our cameras, yeah.
I don't know which is left or right.
It was perfect. The True Detective news was one of the segments I was going to do. They got renewed, as I said before. I kind of just folded that in. The only other piece I had was Megalopolis, the Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, baby.
He's been in development for decades. Has wanted to do it forever. Is like financing it, I think, himself with like $100 million of his own dollars. I heard.
Sick.
Apparently, it's almost finished. And it'll probably hit festivals in the fall, so we won't have to wait too long for that. It's got a star-studded cast, Adam Driver, a bunch of people in that, and it looks pretty wild. And I hope that Francis Ford Coppola returns to form and isn't another just old man doing weird shit.
Totally.
I mean, I hope it is at least an old man doing weird shit. Do a fun belly flop. That'd be cool.
Old man doing weird shit in a good way would be great.
Make another Jack with Robin Williams. I mean, do something weird.
He had
What was that one?
He had
I never,
good vibes with the Coda cut, Godfather Part 3.
Oh yeah,
That was a good cut. So he was locked in for that. It was good.
All right.
They made it way better.
what was his latest? Was his last movie like Tetro or whatever? I never saw that one.
I think
I heard
so.
it was weird. Which I like weird. I like weird stuff. All right, ready to talk about the theme?
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, we have two themes this month. Sort of, kind of just an homage, rest in peace, kind of honoring Carl Weathers, and then our theme beyond that is kind of TV, just golden era TV in general. So like maybe pre-Lost season 4, but whatever. If you want to be part in the part of these conversations, go to patreon.com/reaction shots. And we only have one tier. It gets you this. It gets you in on the conversation and in our Discord, and it's a lot of fun. All right. So I asked what everybody's favorite Carl Weathers role was. Louise Brown just said, I thought this was cute. Just Carl Weathers is a great name. Like Louise Brown just said like
name.
It's a strong name.
Shout out. It is such a freaking good name.
Carl
Solid
Weathers, dude.
It's
I
so
always
good.
wonder if those are like movie star names or they take their real
the
names.
Pures or whatever.
Yeah. It sounds like a very it's not a Zeckelman, it's a strong name. Like,
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. Like he's got such a fun comedy streak. Like
Oh, yeah.
I was looking him up because when I was a kid I knew him from the Rocky movies where he's got like such a big presence as like Apollo Creed. And he becomes Rocky's buddy, which is adorable. In Rocky 3,
really
like
is.
they become buddies. They're like pals.
Yeah.
They're like
Bonds.
such good friends.
Yeah.
But like I was looking him up because he was so funny in Arrested Development as like
So good.
The
That was
like acting coach.
my
scam.
main.
Yeah. And he's been
And
like
Predator,
funny.
obviously.
He's been funny forever. Like he was on Saturday Night Live early in his career. He hosted, and he was like, "Okay,
yeah.
hey everybody, like you may know me from blah blah blah, my movie roles, but I really just wanted to sing a little song for you. It's very very important to me. It's got a big tradition." And he starts singing in this like ridiculously high pitched voice, like Tiny Tim. This weird ass song. It does not like hit with the crowd exactly. He just looks like a giant weirdo, like a fun weirdo, like a us weirdo.
awesome.
Not to call you all weirdos, but like you know what I mean. He seems like a cool person to hang out with, like a hip weirdo, you know. And I was like, this
Yeah.
guy is rad. Like, I no wonder like people were like asking for him for like he was like Happy Gilmore, right? Like
Just
but no wonder-
tap it in.
yeah,
Just tap
exactly,
it.
like-
It's so
like-
good.
But I recommend look him up on Saturday Night Live. The clips like floating around on
really
YouTube.
want to.
Really funny. Like really, you can tell this guy was like he was cool from the beginning. Yeah.
He always seemed like, even in like Predator and stuff, he kind of imbued roles with like a warmth, you know,
It's true. yeah.
that I really appreciated.
The iconic handshake in Predator.
Oh, I mean, dude, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Tokyo Slim says, "Rest in peace, Carl Weathers, the most successful professional actor to ever begin his career playing football for the Oakland Raiders." Sorry, Howie Long. I don't get that, but
That is hilarious. Howie Long was in Broken Arrow.
oh
movie.
shit, I liked
Yeah.
Broken Arrow. Back
was one of the
when I was
henchmen.
15.
Graham
sick,
Yost, the
okay.
writer of Speed. Yeah, Broken Arrow.
Same writer.
Yeah, same writer
Oh,
as Speed,
shit.
I think. Graham
That's
Yost.
right.
Yeah. And what's that Down in the Hatch TV show y'all like?
Lost.
Lost.
With Rebecca Ferguson. It's like
Oh, Silo.
Silo.
that's Graham Yost too. Broken Arrow.
Oh,
Dude,
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Graham Yost. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's older than I thought.
Wait, Graham Yost
Isn't
did
it-
Broken Arrow?
I think so. Unless I'm just totally like off my
Because I know
rocker.
Graham Yost from Justified.
That's
And
him.
Graham Yost did Speed?
He did Speed, Justified, the Down in the
Dude.
Hatch show, and I think he did Broken Arrow also. Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's been around for a
Googling
while.
it.
He does everything. He's got a
That's-
Yeah,
storied
look at
career.
it. Graham Yost.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, this is the Graham
Justified.
Yost sidetrack, but yeah.
Our monthly traditional Graham Yost sidetrack.
Yeah.
We
6
might
degrees
actually
of
have
Graham
one.
Yost. Yeah.
Damn.
He's cool. Like he's got like a cool like he's got good structure when it comes to his stories.
Yeah.
Like he's got a good
Oh,
background.
yeah.
I usually find if you combine him with somebody who can do punchy dialogue, then it really takes off. Yeah.
Oh, he was a story editor and writer on Hey Dude.
Hey,
That's
dude.
funny.
Shit,
Love
yeah.
Hey
Speaking
Dude.
of golden age of TV, dude.
Hell yeah.
Hey Dude. Yeah,
Salute your
Speed,
shorts.
Broken Arrow, Speed 2, Hard
Yes, baby.
Rain. Ooh, Mission to Mars.
Hard Rain.
Band of Brothers. Damn.
Yeah. He does a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Justified. 10 out of 10.
Anyway, Tokyo Slim goes on to list some roles here. Dylan, Apollo Creed, Chubbs, Action Jackson, Grief Car Guy in The Mandalorian, and Carl Weathers as Carl Weathers in Arrested Development. He could do action, he could do comedy, he could do drama. That versatility kept him in the public eye for years, and he carved himself out a spot in our collective minds as several different characters across 4 decades of films and television. We got a lot of love. I tried to like organize the comments a little better this month. We got a lot of love for Carl Weathers as Carl Weathers in Arrested Development. Tyler Travis, Beto's Burrito, Jed. Tyler Travis says, couldn't get enough of Carl Weathers as cheap ass Carl Weathers.
He's so cheap.
Beto's Burrito thought he was a comedy guy just wholesale because of Arrested Development.
If that's your first like introduction to him, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then Jed is one of the greatest as himself roles of all time. Baby, you got a stew going is forever etched in my mind. Rip Carl. I think about that all the time. Like, and then baby, you got a stew going. He's just always trying to save money and make everything into a stew. Oh, so good. Fede Krauch. I still don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. Fade Krausch. I'll say it like a Dune character. Fade. I know
It does
only.
Gravitas, yeah.
Yeah. I only know Carl Weathers from his iconic roles, but my favorite may be Grief Karga from The Mandalorian. Just him saying Mando jovially always brought a smile to my face.
Mando. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
Love
so
that. Great character.
Uzi Suicide says, I think a lot of people forget about Carl Weathers' 1988 tour de force Action Jackson. Part Dirty Harry, part Commando. It's Weathers at his best, being a bad motherfucker doing bad motherfucking things as a Detroit cop with one-liners out the wazoo. It has the comedy, it has the explosions, and most importantly, it has Carl Weathers where he belongs, as the star of the show. A true great, and he will be sorely missed, but never forgotten. Colt Smith says, honestly, Carl Weathers will always be Dylan, you son of a bitch, to me. But a quick second later, I'll be reminded that he was Apollo Creed. He's basically a god. He is basically the epitome of cool guy in the 80s. So cool, he even outcools Rocky, and that's damn cool. Fun fact, I've seen Predator so many times I can often do quote the whole movie as I watch, only by myself, unless someone challenges me to it. Codalito also says my favorite is the Predator, or his Predator. He and Schwarzenegger have such a great chemistry, and they make the arc of friendship and betrayal work with very few means. That movie really should not be as good as it is. Rest in peace. Predator rips.
Predator? Oh
Predator.
my god, yeah.
I love how it just devolves.
Also, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yeah.
He's cooler than Rocky. That's a good comment. He is.
Yeah.
It could just be called
Rocky's-
Apollo. Yeah. I mean, that's why they made the movies. Yeah, they made the movies
the
called
later
Creed.
ones.
Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, Rocky, that to me, I've only really seen Rocky 1, but like, that was kind of Rocky's charm, is that he's kind of like, he's like a boxing nerd. He's like not a super cool guy. He's just kind of a charming little simple guy who wants to box and hang out with Adrian. And
Then Rocky gets famous.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I've only seen the first one, so who knows? Garrett Hultfish, my favorite Carl Weathers role is easily Combat Carl from Toy Story of Terror and Toy Story 4.
Hell
he plays a
yeah.
comedic version of G.I. Joe perfectly. I also didn't realize he was Lightman in The Artful Escape. I didn't know that either. Wow.
Crazy.
I know it's not a movie, but I loved his character and his sultry tones.
Games count.
Everything counts.
Everything counts.
There
or
are
no
no
one
limitations to our limitations.
Counts. It's my favorite Bosch line, Isla.
What's that?
Everybody counts or no one counts.
I like that.
It's good. It's good.
Survive, live together or die alone, or whatever they say on Lost.
That's the best. The best there is.
We learn to live together or we die alone. But then they
Is that
turn it on
Jack?
them later.
Or who says that?
Jack says it
Jack,
in season
yeah.
1, and then
Yeah.
and then later someone flips it on him, like when things are going crazy. All right, moving into Golden Age of TV, or do we have anything else to say about the wonderful Carl Weathers?
Carl Weathers.
It does seem to be his real name. I looked it up.
Fucking just like one you feel like an actor that just had the biggest, like, it's just like there are these actors and directors and just people involved in film that, like, when they pass away, it feels like movies get a little worse. They're gonna get a little worse when these people are gone, you know, like the industry as a whole. Like, there's like positive, negative, and like we just lost like positive went down a little bit.
For sure, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
He was in so many
right.
things. He was in Kung Fu, the original series with David Carradine. You know, he was in Starsky and Hutch. He was
Walk
in
the Earth.
He was in ER. Yeah, like he was in The Heat of the Night. In terms of like TV, because we're about to talk about TV. Like,
Yeah.
he was in like so many things that like was just the landscape of 70s and 80s and 90s TV. He was in The Shield. So like just all over the place. Just
Somebody brought up The Shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually.
Just so much all over our collective consciousness. So
Yeah.
Cool dude.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Whoa, I hit my mic, sorry. All right. I asked people what their favorite Golden Age TV show / moment from a Golden Age TV show was. Got a lot of good responses. Katie Garza says, okay, so I Googled the dates for reference, and I'm using Lost Season 4 as my end date, 2008. That's what I kind of loosely pitched to people.
Great.
Because I think prestige television started taking over with The Wire, and Lost kind of was the fulcrum, you know? Like the first half of Lost was still sort of that procedural, like
Yeah.
garbage TV era, and then the
Breaking
last half
Bad.
of Lost was HBO style. Yeah, Breaking Bad. Katie Garza says, my favorite is probably Avatar: The Last Airbender. Even though I was an anime watcher growing up, there was just something so surprisingly prestige and brilliant about Avatar: The Last Airbender. And yes, I know it's not anime, which I held against it, and is also why I didn't watch it as much until much, much later. I am so glad I eventually did. It's one of those shows that I wish I could delete from my memory so I could feel the feelings the show made me feel watching it again for the first time. Also, shout out to Grey's Anatomy. Early Grey's was incredible, unmissable TV. Arrested Development, House, Nip Tuck. Though with age, that show is insanely problematic. And It's Always Sunny. And of course, Lost. Dude, Nip Tuck, even at the time, I was like,
Insane.
yo, this show's fucked up.
I just was talking to my dad about it. My dad's like, there's no way that show could be on now. That show is insane.
That show, we talked about this back in the day when it was on, because it was like, the most insane shit would happen, like, most insane shit per minute of any show maybe ever.
Totally.
Like, you'll have some lady come in with, like, cocaine in her breast implant or whatever, and, like, 3 minutes later, someone's, like, chopping up an alligator and feeding it to a kid, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening in this television show? And it was all problematic.
What channel was that on? Was that Showtime?
FX.
FX?
I think it was Cinemax or Showtime.
Nip Tuck.
Or was
I think
it FX? It was FX?
It was like normal TV. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like Dexter
No.
or something. Who's to say? Betos Burrito says, Golden Age TV, Gilmore Girls, watched it for the first
It was
time.
FX. It was FX.
Oh, okay, it was FX.
Yeah.
Watched it for the first time over a few months during COVID, and it consumed my life. It was
For the first time?
first time, I guess.
Oh,
It's so
welcome.
much sharper and emotionally punchier than I expected. 2016 revival was such a good send-off. Fight me. I didn't know they did a revival in 2016.
No, incorrect there.
You got to fight Betos then.
Yeah, incorrect. Terrible. They character like Rory in the revival is terrible. Like, people do things for dramatic sake. I feel like that musical episode. Just stop. No, terrible. One of the worst episodes I've seen of that entire series. More like Lorelai and Luke drama for no reason. Like, it was so contrived. It was such a letdown.
Contrived Betos, what do you think?
Yeah,
I misread that. I think I said Gilmore Girls, but I misread it in my mind. Probably because they said Golden Age TV Gilmore Girls as the Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
And I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, I didn't know they did a revival of that. Were they all alive in 2016? Now it makes a lot more sense. It's that terrible show Gilmore Girls. Got it.
The original's the best.
We had to ban Sophia's mom from watching Gilmore Girls when she was staying with us because I found it so irritating.
Oh, because they
That
talked
show
to
makes
us?
me so fucking mad.
You told me that. Yeah. Because
Oh,
they
I
talked
just
to us.
find
Is
them
that the main
so
reason?
annoying. Yeah, I just find them so annoying, and everything. Like, I know it's a style, and I'm sure if I like started at the top and like settled into it,
Yeah.
but like catching as catch can, like I think that show is insufferable.
That's too bad. It's
I'm
so
sorry.
wholesome.
I'm sorry to everyone. I know this
It's
is
like
a me
one of the most
thing.
wholesome shows ever made. Like, there's some problematic things here and there, and as many shows back then are,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like net positive, like so wholesome.
Oh, this is
So
fully
good.
a me thing. I'm sure. Like I'm sure it's an amazing show. I just find it super annoying personally. Matt, you want to be the tiebreaker on Gilmore Girls?
I never saw it, but I knew so many people who loved it and talked about like how great the writing was. And I just never got around to watching it. And I still don't understand what it's about. It's like girls talking on their bed emotionally is what I imagine it. That's what I imagine happening. Yeah.
Basically just a single mom and daughter living in a really small town. Small town. Everyone knows everyone, basically.
Heart-to-heart talks on their bed, right?
Yeah, and they're just trying to live. They're just trying to get through life. They do have some talks on the bed.
Bedroom. Yeah.
Definitely talks on the bed. Talks in the diner more than the bed, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like some real talks in a diner, though, like spontaneous diner talks in real life, like not just in shows in real life. Oh, that's fun. When you're not even planning on going to a diner, I'm like, I feel like I'm in Seinfeld right now. Life is so good.
Speaking of Seinfeld, somebody mentions it. I wish I had that comment lined up right next because I put these in a sort of order, but yeah, Seinfeld comes later. I'm sorry, Huber. I'm sorry I was mean to Gilmore Girls.
Oh, you're so allowed to be. Dude, like...
I think it's
cultural examination of Rory now is like, is Rory kind of a shitty person? Like,
that's kind of what I thought. I was always,
are they both kind of shitty? Right? Yeah.
I always thought, because like my ex-girlfriend of mine, you know, while we were together, she loved Gilmore Girls and Scrubs, and I think that might have colored my opinion on them a little bit. But like, everything I saw about it, I was just like, these two are way too close, and they don't seem like very nice people. And I was like...
They can be pretty mean sometimes, for sure. Definitely.
Well, anyway.
Sometimes. But humans can be mean sometimes, so you look at it that way.
I mean, yeah. I was thinking about that earlier, where it's like, who among us, you know?
Who among us?
Doesn't suck. Nobody. Humans are trash.
Keanu Reeves.
Probably doing fine. But I'm saying, like, you know, everybody has bad days, too.
Definitely.
Some people have way worse days than others, for sure. Like world history-changing, life-shattering days that some people have. Yeah, how many marbles are in your jar? Yeah. Some people have a jar the size of a country, but whatever. Anyway, this is a movie podcast, not a political podcast. Thank Christ. Uzi Suicide says, in terms of golden age television, to me, nothing beats The Honeymooners. Here we go, talk about problematic characters. It's amazing that a sitcom that ran in 1956 can be so timeless. You can watch any episode and the comedy is so funny. Even after repeated viewings, Ralph acting like a total chauvinistic buffoon and always getting his comeuppance from Alice, truly ahead of its time for 50s television. Local NYC station WPIX, Whippix Good, will play 2 Honeymooners episodes every Saturday night to this day and runs a marathon every New Year's Eve for as long as Uzi Suicide has been alive. That's cozy as hell. The Port Authority bus terminal has a Ralph Cramden statue, which I have been to, which I have not been to, but Uzi Suicide has been to, which says, bus driver, Raccoon Lodge treasurer, dreamer. How sweet it was, and always will be. Jason Wojnar also said, The Honeymooners, says to watch it. It holds up really well. Yeah, some of the stuff could be considered outdated, like the fat jokes and the implication of one of these days, Alice, bang, zoom, straight to the moon. But it doesn't diminish the pure comedic genius of the performances. Most sitcoms in the 50s were morality tales and focused on family values, but Honeymooners was purely about comedy. It was also great to see a poor working class New York City couple on TV. Also, my dad was a New York City bus driver for 17 years and Ralph Cramden is a bus driver, so I might have a bias towards it. Other favorites include Night Court, All in the Family, and MASH.
Yeah. I was hoping they were going to say Hill Street Blues.
That comes up, I think.
Nice.
That was a very historical definition of golden age. When I was looking it up, it was like all over the map of like, this is golden age part 1 and this is golden age part 2 and this is golden age part 3 and this is the 4th golden age, and I was like, oh, this is like trying to untangle like the Gundam series or something. This is
ever since
this
episode
is the
2
part.
ever since episode 2 of Reaction Shots, where we did magical realism, and then people were making fun of me for like loose definitions of terms, you know, because I was like, well, this is kind of magical realism and that's kind of magical realism. I sort of low key make it my point to just be like, fuck you. These topics are just loose on purpose.
Yeah.
Whatever you think fits.
Yep.
I think you're right. You, the listener.
Season 4 of Lost.
Whatever you think is right. As long as it's before season 4 of Lost.
I had no idea that there were so many different ones when I looked it up. I was like, oh, shit.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
We got to come up with more names here, historians. Come on now.
Yeah, Platinum Age.
Silver Age, Bronze Age. Like, come on, get creative.
Yeah. The Age of Reflection. I think they should have like really weird names like the Age of Steel Mists. And things like
Turquoise.
that.
Like turquoise.
Yeah.
Turquoise. Expand a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Asbros Zapruder says, for me, the golden age of television is defined by 90s drama, homicide, life on the street. Last year, we lost both Richard Belzer and Andre Brower.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about it a lot lately. The handheld, gritty look of the show was revolutionary at the time, and the outstanding cast also included Ned Beatty, Yafet Koto, Melissa Leo, and Giancarlo Esposito. It was the it was the show that brought David Simon to the world of television before The Wire. The board, a whiteboard where open cases were written in red and closed in black, remains one of the most effective and brilliant uses of props as storytelling I've ever seen. Sadly, it's not available to stream anywhere, so it's nowhere near as well known as it should be.
Yeah.
Fade Crow says,
Wow.
Fade. My favorite show from the golden age is 24, and while there's something to be said about its depiction of minorities,
Jack Bauer.
you can't deny the format.
About its depiction.
I mean,
Let me underline that for a moment.
Yeah, it's a racist show, but they just wanted to highlight the format, made it an immensely addictive series.
Yeah.
It's true.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jack Bauer just fucking torturing people.
He's
Like every other episode, he is torturing someone and screaming, "Who do you work for?"
How many moms did they fucking deal with in that show?
God.
I need you to trust me. Do you trust me?
I need you to trust me. Or like he's torturing someone, he's like doing light torture, and then he'll be like, I don't have time for this, and then he'll do like extreme torture. Fucking psychotic show.
He's got a meter.
God.
Yeah.
Just pulls it up. My
That
God.
first season was
My
kind of
goodness,
fun. I remember it was pretty damn fun. But then like as the seasons went on, I was like, oh, we're getting pretty damn racist here, aren't we?
I believe the mummy comes. Ahmad Voslo, the mummy comes in one of the seasons, and he's like
From
one
the
of the
1999 Mummy?
yeah. He plays like one of the villains, and it's so good.
Anaxunamun!
Yeah.
Do not open the Book of Shadows! Those are two different characters, but that I just quoted. Now, here's where we get into our wheelhouse, Matt. Tyler Travis and Tyler Travis just goes twin. Oh, not yet. No one. Hang on. We'll scream at the audience about that later, unless somebody brings it up. But I missed it in my thing. Tyler Travis says Twin Peaks, baby.
Oh yeah, Twin Peaks.
And then
my Twin Peaks tattoo. Got to rep your set.
how many Twin Peaks tattoos do you have?
10. No, just one.
Oh, just one. I thought it was at least 2. And then JG also brought up Twin Peaks.
JG Whitworth, 877 Cash Show. Dude, Matthew, the fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's Isla. I'm not even kidding. They've done it. They've done it in like 3 or 4 episodes. It is like the bit of the entire season.
It is.
I
This
need
last
to
episode
watch
too.
more Curb.
Just so funny.
Yeah. No, the thing on HBO that I never miss is Last Week Tonight, pretty much. But like,
Oh, hell yeah.
I need to go through and watch Curb. This thing keeps popping out of my ear. JG says Twin Peaks is one of my favorite things ever. Unfortunately, after Lynch left for a while during season 2 after the big mystery had been resolved, sort of, it gets really bad for a bit. Fire Walk with Me completely makes up for it, though. Absolutely amazing film. I also want to shout out Seinfeld. There it is. Especially my favorite episode, The Note, where Kramer thinks he saw Joe DiMaggio at Dinky Donuts. Also, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Him as Apollo Creed was legendary. Is legendary. I misread it.
Seinfeld is like my favorite comedy of all time.
Oh yeah, Seinfeld is
Number one.
some god tier stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not some psycho who is like Seinfeld or Friends. You can have them both. They're both
Have them
amazing.
both. Have them all. Nothing matters. Watch whatever you
They're
want.
So good.
Like what
Seinfeld
you want,
and Friends.
don't like what you don't want.
What a crazy time that both of those were on. I mean, you want to talk about golden age. Good grief.
I mean, the
Seinfeld and
90s had
Friends.
some insane
ER?
bangers.
Yeah.
ER, fucking the X-Files.
So nuts.
Yeah.
Dude,
We were
90s
snacking.
ripped on TV.
Yeah, we were snacking, dude.
I mean, if
You didn't even know it.
Yeah. Have you seen Living Single? Did either of you watch Living Single?
No, but that sounds great.
I love it. I just watched it this past year. I didn't grow up on it, but it was like in the mid 90s. It came before Friends. It's like 4 black women, including Queen Latifah, and like 2
love
dudes
Queen
who
Latifah.
live above them, and they're all hanging out in New York. And it's just like Friends. I think Friends modeled itself on it, like, and didn't like give it credit, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's better than Friends. And you know how Friends has some like weird episodes that like, I know Friends is great, but you're like, oh, that feels a little weird. They're making fun of gay people. I'm a little uncomfortable. Living Single doesn't have any of those. It's weird. Like, it's ahead of its time. Like, all of its shit holds up. It's great. And the cast is like super charming and funny. And like, you just love all the characters. I would add it into your rotation. If you're going back to Seinfeld, if you're going back to Friends, put in a little Living Single in there. It's on HBO because I didn't grow up with it. And I just watched it this past year. And I watched every episode, like 2 or 3 episodes a night. And it's just like charming and funny. And it cheers you up. And you just like, you don't want to watch something heavy for dinner. Just like put in a little Living Single. And you're like, oh, I feel better. Do it. Like,
that
watch
sounds
Living
good.
Single. Yeah, it's
Okay,
really, really
all
good.
right.
Like mid
And also
90s
just
show.
not-
Yeah.
Tragically white like Friends was until like season like 6.
Exactly.
Aisha Tyler, I think,
Me,
is like,
I'm tragically white. My viewing habits are tragically white, so
Favorite,
I just have to educate myself a
I
little.
wouldn't say that's true.
Favorite
Yeah.
Queen Latifah movie by far, Set It Off.
Set it up.
I
It's
haven't
so
seen
the
that.
Robin one. It's
God, I
really
love it.
fun. Yeah.
God, I love that
Some
movie.
great bank robbing scenes. Like, I always love a bank
Yes.
robbing movie, but the one where
Same,
they just drive
same.
the car through the front and all the teddy
So
bears are in it.
sick. It's so
It's
sick.
great. Yeah.
Love that movie.
Twin Peaks though, god tier stuff. I could talk about. We could do an episode on Twin. Have we ever done an episode on
We
Twin
did a
Peaks?
David Lynch
Great
show.
question.
A David
Oh, we
Lynch
did a
show.
David
He-
Lynch
he-
episode.
when
That's
I,
right,
I
that's
was
right.
on as a guest. Yeah. But
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a
yeah.
20
Any-
specific.
Any show that is like still in the conversation decades after is.
Oh yeah.
How do you even top anything like that?
Holy shit, it
that's
has
like the
been
Mount
decades.
Olympus. Yeah, it's been decades.
Ooh.
The Mount Olympus of TV shows, Twin Peaks, still being referenced all the time.
Well, and also just like achieving what it achieves, because like, yeah, it gets a little murky in season 2, but like being such a cultural touchstone and being relevant for so long, yes, but then also like coming out 25 years later with a
20-hour movie.
well, yeah, with like an 18-hour movie that like is really, really challenging to watch while you're watching it. And then once you're done with it, you're like, oh, that was brilliant and I loved it. But like,
Awesome.
that is such a hard thing to pull off, you know? Like, oh,
I saw Twin Peaks when I was like 18, and Jessica, who's now my wife, like showed it to me with her group of friends. And what I loved about it, it was like one of the first shows that saw the world the way I saw it, but it also
Yeah.
made me look at the world differently at the same time. Like it was that combo. Like it opened my eyes to a new way of looking at things when I was really young, but it also like I connected with it because I was like, yes, you get things the way I get things. Like it made me feel less alone. Like it's a great show. And very few TV shows were doing things like that at the time. Yeah.
It's also such a funny show because, like, yeah, it's weird and it's complicated and it's all crazy, but, like, it boils down to such a simple, like, read where it's just, like, evil got into the world and is winning and good people have to try to stop it. Like, that's what the show is. That's everything. Like,
Classic.
yeah.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah. Mr. Zaylor says Star Trek: The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine are peak serialized
Nice.
television
Oh,
with the perfect
sci-fi,
mix. With a perfect mix of amazing and terrible episodes. In terms of actual Golden Age TV pre-80s, as a kid I was obsessed with Wacky Races, the origin of the multiverse. I've never heard of Wacky Races.
I hate the multiverse.
Also, I couldn't pass this up without bringing up the show of shows, The Muppet Show. Holds up. The Muppet Show rips. I love The Muppet Show. I don't know Wacky Races, but I love Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. I like TNG a little, like, way more.
Have you seen every episode of all the Star Trek?
No,
Like,
I've seen probably most of Next Generation. I think there's like 2 episodes I probably haven't seen. I saw a friend of mine took me through like certain arcs of DS9. And I saw I think most of Voyager, but you know, I've seen here and there of original series, and then like the newer ones I haven't really.
Got it.
But I really want to. I've seen like the first 4 or 5 episodes of Strange New Worlds, and I really liked it. So I'm thinking of getting into that and Discovery again.
I heard the new one like started kind of slow, and then it's like everyone was like, "Oh, it's great.
Yeah, my friend Jack, who has seen probably all the Star Trek, he was talking about that too. He was like, "Yeah, Discovery didn't grab me at first, but now he like loves it." And Strange New Worlds is like really special too.
Cool.
And I haven't watched the cartoon at all, Lower Decks, but yeah.
I love
Star
falling
Trek
asleep
kicking.
to science fiction shows.
Dude,
really
I forgot to
cozy.
bring it up. Matthew, dude, I forgot to bring it up. I was on vacation for a week, and sometimes when I'm on vacation, I have trouble falling asleep. So what did I put on in the room every night? The sleepiest movie of all time. There is no better medicine to put you to sleep than...
Aliens.
No. I'll watch that all the way through. No, maybe that. Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Blade Runner, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It puts me to sleep so fast. In a good way.
Yeah.
Puts me to sleep in a good way. Yeah.
I would catch myself like kind of like peeking at like some parts, just like.
I wonder if it's something about the lights. It feels like a medicine
The
bath
lights?
of science fiction movies. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
It's because his apartment, it's because of this constant like sound beds in that movie. Like his apartment just goes.
There's
I
like
love it.
long musical parts too where no one sang anything. Just, like,
Evangelist, dude.
slow panning.
So you were out on a cruise, right?
Yeah.
So I love picturing just for a moment you're out like in the middle of the ocean.
Yes.
And then just like science
Pitch black,
fiction lights like
Blade Runner, the
over
peak
you while you're trying
vibes,
to go to
dude.
sleep.
It's incredible.
Did you
And
have
it's
it on like
outside,
a
yeah.
device with you?
It's on. They have like just like 100 movies on demand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cozy,
So-
dude.
I watched like Butch Cassidy the first night and then Blade Runner every other night to go to sleep. It's like, hell yeah.
That's
Isla,
great.
you're not a fan of Butch Cassidy, right? Was it you that didn't like that movie?
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
What? What?
I love that movie. I think the
What?
writing is phenomenal, and the script is so great too. If you take a look at the script,
What is this? What is this slander?
It loses me during the 45-minute raindrops keep falling on my head bicycle.
My dad says the same fucking thing. My dad says the same thing.
It's
Shit is
boring, dude.
hilarious. It's funny. It's really.
It's not
funny.
45 minutes. It's like 6.
Yeah, 6 minutes of a fucking dude just biking around on a. It's like, come on.
I love the gag that when he
Oh.
throws the bicycle and he's like, the features all yours, lousy bicycle. He throws it to the ground.
Yep.
So funny.
Listen, I think also I kind of was like, when I saw it, I was like not in a great place, and I was probably only half watching it, so like, whatever. But yeah, at the time I was not into it.
That's so
Maybe
funny.
I'll give it a re-examination.
Oh, so good.
It's
But I'm
just silly.
sorry.
It's like a silly movie, so you have to catch its silly wave, and if you're off the
Yeah.
silly wave, it's going to
Yeah.
be irritating.
Just
Yeah.
Newman and
Silly
Redford
movies are like
together.
that. Yeah.
I mean, they're them together is lightning in a bottle. It's like pure
Yeah.
magic.
Colt Smith says, as to Golden Age television, I'm going to have to say the late 90s, very early 2000s is peak for me. X-Files, Simpsons, That 70s Shows, Cowboy Bebop, or That 70s Show, Cowboy Bebop, Evangelion, Dragon Ball Z, The Dawn of Naruto, Third Rock from the Sun, fucking Third Rock from the Sun, The Sopranos, did Breaking Bad before Breaking Bad, and I think did it better. Okay, wow.
Sopranos?
Yeah.
I mean, they're both the best.
They're both good, yeah. And I'll even throw in CSI and Gilmore Girls because they kick so much ass. So glad to have this show have its own home and hope it becomes huge. It won't. Much love to the three of you
gotta
and the best
believe.
podcast on the net.
Aw.
Tell your
that's so
friends
nice.
about reaction shows. Thank you so much, Cold Smith.
Thank you.
Did you know?
I don't hustle hard enough for us to get big, you know?
Quentin Tarantino directed 2 episodes of CSI. I had no idea.
That's wild.
yeah.
And wasn't he
can see
in
him.
like Alias real quick? He has
know
like the most
Cronenberg was in
strange
Alias.
acting. Yeah.
I think he did show up in something, yeah.
Yeah.
Strange acting credits.
Yeah.
I was
He
listening to
shows
some
up in random
commentaries from Breaking Bad the other day, and they were talking about Ryan Johnson stuff, and like he did some really good directing on that show, Breaking Bad.
places. Alias though
But yeah,
was really really fun for a little while there. When Alias was good, Alias was good. I
Oh,
rewatched
hell
Alias
yeah.
for the first like pilot episode this month, just as a reminder.
Yeah.
Like, was Alias good? Yeah,
was
Alias was
good.
really good.
Yup,
Because I
yup.
watched Lost because of how great Alias was. I was like, well, Alias was amazing. Let me check out Lost. And like, I would binge Alias before I knew what binging was. You know, there wasn't like a word for it back then, but I worked at Blockbuster Video, and Jessica and me, we would watch like 5 episodes in a row. We'd be like, it's so good, we gotta find out what
So
happens.
awesome.
Like, is her dad a traitor or not? Like, is her boss evil or not? Like,
Yeah,
is her mom
good
cool
mystery.
or not? They would flip back and forth all the
Is her
time,
mom cool or
alliances. But yeah, it was so fun. What a great show when it was good. Like, it got silly eventually, the way Lost got silly eventually, but yeah, it was good.
Lost holds
Good
up.
times. Yeah.
On a re-examination. Watch the Billiam videos about Lost. You get the joy of rewatching it with cultural context. Billiam.
I have
4
pride in my
6-hour
Lost
videos.
time. It was fun. It was fun being a part of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you fucking worked on Lost. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was so cool working on that. I loved it.
Sick.
Lost is great.
Simpsons. I'm glad The Simpsons was shouted out. I mean, that's
Simpsons, dude. I mean,
a
Simpsons. Like,
societal
peak,
touchstone.
peak Simpsons was seasons like 2 through 9, right? It was like
Yeah.
insanity back then. And Cowboy Bebop. I mean, that's like literally one of the best things ever made.
Did y'all watch
Simpsons,
Firefly?
I
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Firefly
Yeah,
was
well,
alright.
Of
Firefly,
course.
because of Cowboy Bebop, like Firefly felt very close to what Cowboy Bebop
Yeah.
was doing.
Yeah,
It was like
I
trying to do
huge
a
into
more
Firefly ever
professional
since.
version of it. I enjoyed it. Like I got
I
pretty
love
into
Firefly.
it at the time. Yeah.
Same. I even
kinda-
read the comics,
There were comics.
Saw the movie.
I didn't realize it.
like
Yeah.
after the fact.
Was it based on
Yeah.
a comic that already existed, or did the comics
No,
come
no, no,
afterwards
no.
to like extend it?
They did some comics because like, you know, the show was canceled and
Yeah.
all that bullshit. Yeah.
I saw.
Fucking love that
I
universe.
tried to watch the movie before I saw the show.
What?
Serenity
Don't
came
do
out
that.
in theaters, and I didn't know we didn't know what was going on. We walked out after like 15 minutes. We were so confused. We were like, "What is this movie?" We were dumb. We didn't know better. We were just like, "What is this movie, Serenity? This is so confusing. Let's just leave." And then later on, we watched the show and watched Serenity. And like, okay, this is great.
Okay,
this
good.
Is so good. Yeah.
He killed
Serenity's
like half the
so
cast in that
sick.
fucking movie. It's
Dude,
insane.
Serenity's so badass. Oh my god.
It's a great
I love
movie.
Serenity.
What's his name's a piece of shit or whatever, but like
Yeah.
whatever.
The dude Jane with the weird hat.
Oh yeah, that guy too.
Him too, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Whedon. Yeah, Whedon's awful.
Yeah.
Jane, the guy with the weird hat, the actor who plays him.
Yeah,
is, like,
he's a
pretty
real
right
shitbird
line,
too,
but-
isn't he?
Yeah,
I don't
Jeremy
know.
Hoffman, greatest dude. Love that guy. Gave me a
Yeah.
Christmas present of that cool hat, the like orange
Oh,
and
yeah.
yellow hat. Before
That's
that guy turned out to be awful, and I still love that hat. When I go somewhere cold, I wear it because Hoffman's just the sweetest dude. I love that guy.
The my sister and I always quote something Jane says in Firefly, where it's like, "Well, if wishes were horses, we'd all be eating steak."
It's funny.
And I was like, shit, yeah.
Firefly is good. Yeah.
Yeah, Firefly rips, dude.
I love Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. I also liked, I was at karaoke a month or so ago and somebody threw on something from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and I was just like, oh man, I was so into this. I remember this. Oh man.
Oh, I
Is
forgot
that Neil
about
Patrick Harris?
What?
Is that Neil Patrick Harris?
Yeah. And Nathan Fillion and
I haven't seen that one.
yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a musical, so
Yeah.
but it's cute. I don't know how it's I don't know if it aged well or not. It was pretty innocuous back then, I think. Jed says, to me, the 2000s are the peak of television. Some of my favorite shows of all time are sitcoms like Arrested Development, It's Always Sunny, 30 Rock, and The Office. I'm also a huge fan of action and drama like 24, House, and Band of Brothers. But if it's just the American stuff, but that's just the American stuff. We were also blessed with great British shows like Peep Show, Life on Mars, MI5, Hustle, Skins, Doctor Who Reboot, shit yeah.
Skins,
And the
dude, thank
excellent
you.
State of Play miniseries, not to mention guilty pleasures from both sides of the Atlantic like CSI, The IT Crowd, and True Blood, or semi-scripted shows like The Daily Show and Top Gear. If I could only watch TV from one decade for the rest of my life, it would be the 2000s.
Nice.
Peep
I love
Show
that
is so
Skins shout out.
depressing.
Peep Show? I've only seen a couple episodes.
Depressing. I watched all of it. It's really funny, and
I've heard it's great. I didn't know it
the
was
characters are
depressing.
so cute, but like gets so fucking sad. These characters'
Damn.
lives are so depressing, and just hearing their thoughts while they try to justify the terrible things they do. And sometimes I relate to it, not the things that they do, but the self-talk that you do while you try and
Yeah.
do selfish things. Maybe you don't do selfish things. I do selfish things. sometimes.
Rationalize.
You hear them do it and you're like, oh, why do I do things like that? It gets so depressing and dark sometimes.
Put another marble in the jar, yeah.
Exactly.
I watched a lot of IT Crowd.
Yeah.
But maybe that guy's problematic now too? I don't know.
Skins is one of my. I'm not even kidding. Skins is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Sophia talks about Skins all the time. I completely missed Skins.
One of my favorite
Apparently it was
shows
like
ever
Euphoria before the other Euphoria, before this Euphoria.
Yeah.
Sophia
Like
says
the
Skins is amazing.
OG. Yeah. Kids coming of age, just so raw, so gritty. Like 10 future movie stars in that show too. They have so many young actors that got so famous.
Is it like Harmony Korines or
I was
Kids
just
or
thinking
anything
that.
like that?
I was just thinking that. It probably hits less hard than Kids, because I saw Kids when I was like 12.
It's like
and I was
no, it's
I don't
like
wanna watch
Kids.
Skins.
It's
is?
like Kids. Kids
Oh,
vibes
fuck.
for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
fun, sounds fun.
Like they,
Don't go ahead
hard
and not watch
drugs,
Skins.
hard drugs, some crime, and they just get into trouble like kids and just do dumb fucking shit all the time and pay some real serious consequences and live with mistakes and regret and it's not like fully miserable too though. It's like a comedy. There's still
Kids
a
is
lot
fully
of humor.
miserable.
Yeah, it's not fully miserable. It's not fully miserable.
Kids
Like I
is
think
so
about
bad,
the
yeah.
final final images of kids and like him being like, "It's okay, it's me, it's just me." And I'm like, "This is so fucked. This is so fucked."
Yeah, I don't want to talk about kids.
No.
I don't want to talk about kids right now.
We all saw kids when we were like so
I
young.
know. So, I can see the VHS box.
Yeah. Oh,
I can see it at Blockbuster, Matthew. That white VHS box.
Yeah.
no, like the like chalk font thing.
Change the subject quick to something good.
Yeah.
I need a happy
Simpsons.
face.
Homer Simpson eating a donut. Iconic
Schools
image.
need to like I obviously just teach sex ed because abstinence doesn't work. But like, if you really wanted to like, scare your kids into abstinence, just show them kids when they're like 12. Like when I saw it, like I was like, oh my god, scarred for years.
Show them kids. Show them skins.
Don't do that. Garrett Hallfish as a golden, yes, Matt.
Oh, I was just gonna say happy high school stuff. Did anybody watch Freaks and Geeks?
Of course.
No.
Flawless
Big?
show.
Yeah. So many cool
Top
people
5
came out of
shows that got canceled too soon.
Yeah, it was great. So endearing. I mean, everybody was in that. Like Martin Starr and Seth Rogen was in it, and
What's her face?
James Franco.
I love her.
Sorry, he was in there, but
Yeah.
he probably maybe he wasn't doing bad things back then. He was really funny in it.
Who knows?
Now, Jason Segel. Who else is in there?
I like
Lots
Jason
of people.
Segel.
Hawkeye's wife. What's her name?
Oh,
What's her name? I love her.
I can't remember her name.
Busy Phillips. Is that
The main actress in there.
Oh, Linda Cardellini.
Cardellini. Yes.
Cardellini,
Yeah. Yeah, I love Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
Thelma from the live action Scooby-Doo movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Freaks and
Were
Geeks
they-
is like Wonder Years if it was funnier. Yeah.
Totally.
And cooler.
I'm so mad it got canceled. What the hell? What the hell?
It's
Ahead of its
a
time,
good
perhaps.
show. Yeah, really, really funny. Really cool. I highly recommend.
Garrett Hallfish says, as for Golden Age of Television, I'm thankful you said season 4 of Lost because my answer is Pushing Daisies. It's my favorite show of all time and Brian Fuller's best work. Great blend of comedy and heart, and it truly transports you to a unique world. Its only flaw is its rushed and unanswered ending due to being canceled halfway through the second season.
It's upsetting.
It couldn't survive the lengthy delay from the writer's strike. I watched Pushing Daisies. I liked that show, yeah. It was cute. I enjoyed it.
Heck yeah.
Duff, I think Samurai Jack was my first encounter with a prestige animated show where every episode felt like an event, and the emphasis on visual storytelling made watching more rewarding. It wasn't the serialized storytelling we're used to now, but likely an integral stepping stone for Western animation. Shout out to Beast Wars, which was a serialized show and spawned my obsession with Transformers by having my first oh shit TV moment, revealing at the end of the second season that the cast had crashed on prehistoric Earth and their spoilers for Beast Wars, I guess, and their ancestors from the original Transformers cartoon were all unconscious under a mountain that the big bad had been looking for all this time in hopes of causing a time paradox where his ancestors won the war in 1984 series. I watched Beast Wars.
I watched Beast Wars, yeah. Like every morning I watch Beast
Yeah.
Wars. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, I don't remember any specifics. Beast Wars, dude. Samurai Jack was sick though too. Codalito. For my favorite golden age of TV moment, I go to the 1983 miniseries V. It got broadcast on national TV here in Sweden a couple years later. So this must have been while I was in kindergarten, and I was probably up past my bedtime for some reason. I think I'm going to have a shared experience with you, Codalito. The iconic scene I'm talking about is the first time the aliens unmask and we see the lizard face beneath. I saw it by accident and out of context, and it freaked me right the fuck out.
Yeah,
it probably also triggered a lifelong obsession with sci-fi and horror. I have since watched the entire show and its sequel, V, the final battle, as an adult, and it holds up incredibly well. The story is really about fascist oppression that riffs a lot on what happened in Germany in the early Nazi years. Highly recommend if you haven't seen it. Classic anime for the month is Mecha Epic Armored Troopers Votoms, also from 1983. I'm currently halfway through the original TV show, and it's a dark meditation on the horrors of war and what shady governments do to protect their secrets. Yeah, when I was a kid, I saw a scene from, I think it was from V, and it was like red eyes outside of a window or something like that. I think it was from V. And, oh boy, it scared the shit out of me. I was just like, oh no, what's happening? Just on TV too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought it was really cool, but it's kind of funny that like dumb conspiracy theories now that fringe adults
think people are
actually
lizard
believe in
Yeah.
are like, no, there are real lizard people. It's like, that was a TV show in like 1983. Yeah. That's not a real thing that's actually happening in real life. Sorry if that upsets people in the audience. Hopefully we don't have those people in the audience. It was a TV show. Not a real thing in politics. Yeah. There aren't real lizard people.
People are doing their best. The human animal is afraid by default, so you gotta fill it with something.
Yeah.
Fear.
Super Sushi. I want to nominate some of my favorite sci-fi shows from the time of for best TV shows: Stargate SG-1, Atlantis and Universe, Battlestar Galactica, Farscape, Andromeda, Fringe, and Eureka.
Battlestar, baby.
Loved all these shows and still have them run frequently in the background while doing other stuff. Which one got that reaction, Matt?
Oh, I just love Farscape so much. Farscape is
Farscape,
so
my dad
goofy.
loved
always wanted to watch that. I'm so bummed I missed that one. I should watch
so
it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a Jim Henson thing. Jim Henson made this giant spaceship and all these puppets and all the makeup of the characters. And in anime terms, for the anime viewers, it's like an isekai. I think that's what they call it, where this dude just goes into like a foreign land and has to figure out what the hell's going on. And it's incredible. It's really goofy and psychedelic. I think his name is John Crichton, the main character. And he's kind of a chachi dude, kind of a frat guy. But the situations he gets in are so cool. And the one of the main actors is like an Uncharted actress, the voice actress of she's an Uncharted
Claudia
2.
Black.
Exactly, that's her.
I think.
And she's incredible in the show. It's just great. It's so far out there and weird. Like if you like your sci-fi to do weird things, this is the one for you. Like when the Star Trek episode does something weird, like every 5 or 6 episodes, like this is the weird one. Well, Farscape is all the weird episodes, like all weird all the time. Like, I love Farscape. Yeah.
Also, I love Fringe and Battlestar Galactica, the remake. I never saw the original.
The remake, yes. Top
obsessed. I have all the board games.
That was the thing for a while. Yeah, that and Lost were both running at the same time, weren't they, for a little bit?
That was a good time for TV.
Yeah.
See, when I get there, it says, does The Shield count as a golden age of TV? Not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you read The Shield.
Yeah, no, The Shield.
Feels like it's been forgotten over the years.
Gritty.
The performance by Forrest Whitaker in season 4 is beyond phenomenal. I didn't know Forrest Whitaker was in there.
The Shield is so gritty. So good. And I love when you show dirty effing cops. Like just terrible cops doing terrible things. The Shield is so good. Love that show.
Tokyo Slim, patron saint of reaction shots, says, Golden Age TV, I remember the final episodes of MASH and Cheers, which were probably the biggest TV moments I can remember. Stuff like The X-Files and The Simpsons were the first things that everyone I knew were watching all together and would discuss at school. Hell yeah. Believe it or not, stuff like MTV Spring Break, Real World Road Rules, and especially for a few years, TRL were huge. Yeah, true. Very cool. I would watch TRL, not the other ones. Probably paved the way for the glut of reality television we have today. My favorites were the stuff that got piggybacked onto the big shows, stuff that played right before or after the big must-see TV hours, like The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. and Firefly. Yeah, dude, back then programming was so interesting because like you would find a new favorite like just by staying on the channel, Also, I really appreciate the 90s cheese core shows like Viper, Mantis, Acapulco Heat, etc. That was my golden age of TV. Nice. MASH made me so fucking depressed as a kid. I cannot handle that show. Ugh.
And isn't one of the song, like the theme song of the show, like
suicide is painless.
Jesus, that's depressing.
Written by his kid.
Yeah.
Written by his kid. What's his name's kid wrote that? It's crazy.
Wow.
God.
The director. Oh my God.
Never got into MASH.
Robert Altman for the movie,
Yeah,
right?
Altman.
But,
Yeah, Altman's
did he
kid.
do the show also? I know that was
I don't know, but
him for the movie.
The theme song was from the movie, and
Yeah.
allegedly Robert Altman's kid wrote.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, no one brought up The Prisoner. I'm disappointed.
Prisoner.
In
Well,
you.
we're gonna do
That
a
show's such a
Prisoner
deep cut,
rewatch episode by episode.
Dude, I have the Blu-rays. I was gonna. Did I
My
tell this on
camera's
here?
on the Blu-ray right now. Right here,
What?
set up. My camera is
Yeah.
on the Blu-ray right now. The box set, not joking.
Oh, your camera is setting on. Oh,
hilarious.
that's so funny.
Oh my
That's how
God.
close The Prisoner is to my heart.
The other day, I went to rebuy it on Amazon. I can't remember if I told this already. And then I was like, boy, that cover art looks familiar. And then I scrolled up and it was like, Amazon was like, you purchased this in 2009. And I was like, oh, I should check my folio of Blu-rays. And I did. It was the first thing I saw. I just opened it up and it was like The Prisoner. And I was like, oh shit, okay, I own this. I'm glad I didn't spend $200 buying this again.
Oh, The Prisoner's great. How would you pitch the
before-
show? Oh, go ahead.
How would I pitch
No, you go
the
ahead, you go
show? 1967's The Prisoner, starring Patrick McGoohan, is a show about a secret agent who retires for reasons unknown and is whisked away to a strange and whimsical island village where he is held, and various methods of trying to get him to divulge information are used on him. Yeah, that's what I would say.
I mean,
Great
it's-
premise.
It's sort of like if Austin Powers wasn't goofy. If Austin Powers was like dead serious.
That's great.
But there's a whimsy to it where it's like it's not playing it for laughs, but the world is just by default whimsical, like to a certain extent.
It's very
And, like,
colorful, yeah.
It's very it's filmed in this place called Portmeirion in Wales, which is this guy who had this just rich guy who would just kind of save architecture from being destroyed elsewhere in the world and have it brought to his little village in
Whoa.
Portmeirion, Wales, or whatever. My parents went and saw it because they both loved The Prisoner as well.
really?
And I plan to go there someday.
wow.
Hopefully, knock on wood. But like, yeah, I love The Prisoner. I love The Prisoner, dude. It's so good. And like, it does such cool things where like, there's like weird, like secret stuff with the numbers in it, and like no actors besides the main guy and like this butler are repeated with very few exceptions. Like every episode has a completely different cast by and large. Like it's just such a crazy show. And like every show we've talked about that's like even a little weird, like owes something to The Prisoner. And like The Simpsons has parodied Prisoner like 4 times.
That's funny.
Like Lost couldn't have happened without The Prisoner. Like X-Files.
They talk
the
about
Twin
like,
Peaks.
The Prisoner, yeah.
Yeah, it's like crazy. The Prisoner is so good.
I think if you were a kid who
remake was
liked
not.
it when you had to read Brave New World or 1984
Yes.
or Fahrenheit 451 or Handmaid's Tale, any of those dystopian books, and those like caught your interest, this show is like a extremely fun one of those where you're like,
Yeah.
what's going on in this world? Why are they trapping this guy? Like,
You're so
who is
right.
the secret boss of this place? Why are they surveilling him in this room? Like, what are the secrets of this village? Like, you'll
Yeah.
want to find out like what's going on with this mystery, and you'll just love what's going on with this universe. There's this big white ball that floats everywhere and will smother people,
Rover.
and like you're trying to erase their memories. Like, there's so many cool things going on with it, and it's from the 60s. You're like, how
Yeah.
did the show exist in the 60s? If it came out now, it would seem like very experimental. Yeah.
Well, and like there was like some meta stuff about it too, where like the show was aired in like a weird order, and people were never exactly sure which episodes were supposed to go in which order. And like, there's like featurettes on the Blu-ray where it was like, we're pretty sure this is the right order, but we don't know. And like they know obviously they know like the last episode, but like Patrick McGowan had to go into hiding after the show was done. Like, it's a fucking crazy show. Like,
yeah, if you like Metal Gear Solid 2, you would like The Prisoner.
Yes.
It's that kind of
These
thing.
comparisons are so apt. Like, Fun Brave New World is so accurate. Or like 1984.
I'm really. I need to watch that.
Yeah.
You always bring it up.
I think it's on Tubi or Freevee also. It's on one of those programs, you know, where they got all the free stuff. So, yeah.
I'm shocked and upset and appalled that nobody brought up Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah.
I am actually disgusted and I want to throw up and hang up right now.
Bye.
Like,
we're leaving.
Yeah, episode over.
Just like an absolute masterclass in storytelling for adults wrapped up in a kids show. These episodes, like I still watch them. So many people out there. I'm sure people watching now have seen an episode recently. Just timeless, absolutely timeless. And some of them deal with some heavy themes, like freaking the Two-Face episode, just dealing with like multiple personalities, or like Poison Ivy being like an eco-terrorist and them like destroying land and her wanting revenge. It's like so good. Best show.
Very good show, yeah.
How did they make it? How did they make that show?
Even Batman Beyond was sick.
God, I love Batman Beyond. There's something about giving creators, it's like such a hard, like it either pays off or it fails miserably, I feel like, when the creators just have complete freedom. And it paid off for Batman
the right
Animated
person,
Series.
then it's going to be good,
Yeah.
Sick.
Let's watch Lost.
What?
Let's watch Lost in a theater.
You don't. Well, that would be sick. But you don't have to watch Lost if you watch Billiam's crazy ass 6-hour videos. It's shorter than rewatching Lost. You know. Then we like to end with just kind of an anything else kind of a thing. Fade Crouch says, since I missed last month's announcement, please indulge me while I mention 3 of my favorite things from 2023. Warrior was utterly amazing on its 3rd season, and now that it's found popularity on Netflix, I hope they manage to finish the story.
Yep, too. I'm so upset. Yeah, pause for. Oh, it's so depressing. It got canceled twice.
Oh, bummer.
And then now it's on Netflix, and like the masses have Netflix. If something's on Netflix, it has the possibility to be huge so much easier than any other network. Like if some trash ass movie from the 2010s is on Netflix, all of a sudden it's trending #1. Like Warrior, Warrior #1 trending, or like it was in the top 10 for like a while, and like people are finally watching it, binging it. I keep seeing it on my feed. One of the best possible martial arts shows, and it's historical too. It's like early San Francisco, like 1900s, from Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter.
Yeah,
it was Bruce Lee's passion project. He wanted to make this thing forever, and it's just, if you like badass martial arts, or even if you don't really care about martial arts as much as like historical dramas, it excels at both. Incredible. Do not miss it.
Kind of like Once Upon a Time in China vibes a little bit.
Totally.
I watched a lot of it.
It's so good. Yeah, I love that show. I was watching some of it with Tokyo Slim, actually, when I went up for the All-Star game in Seattle. I was staying with Tokyo Slim. We threw on some Warrior.
Dude, hardcore.
It was epic.
Oh, that you made me think about Brandon Lee and the shots of...
The New Crow?
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård or
which
whatever.
Which have very, very Leto Joker vibes. And I'm a little nervous.
I do not like it, dude. Like,
I'm a little nervous.
Like the makeup in the first one is like, if I recall, it was his girlfriend's, right? Or he was like a rock and roll kind of guy, but like it was kind of like an homage to her, sort of. Like
just like ICP vibe.
I mean, I loved The Crow as a kid, but also just like like, he didn't have to be a white guy. Like, I like Bill Skarsgård, but like, what? Doesn't have to be a white guy. Like,
Yeah, I do love Bill Skarsgård as well.
I love Bill Skarsgård. I'm sure he'll be great, and I'm sure hopefully it'll be good. But like,
should have got somebody from Warrior.
Seems like they missed a trick on that one, but whatever. Wheel of Time kept everything back to Fade. Wheel of Time kept everything that worked from first season and improved everything that needed improving to make an amazing second season amazing season of fantasy TV. Vinland Saga somehow keeps managing to masterfully tell a story with a pacifist message with Vikings as the main cast. And finally, My Hero Academia forever changed the status quo on a massive war epic, paving the way for an epic finale. Also, P.S. Damn, Shogun is good.
Shogun is the best thing on TV by far. Nothing is even close.
I'm so excited.
My gosh.
Jason Wojnar says the Ukrainian documentary 20 Days in Mariupol was nominated for Best Documentary Feature at the Oscars. The movie is legally available for free on YouTube, at least in the US. I'll probably write more about it in a future episode, but highly recommend watching it. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I
Check
remember
it out.
the nomination, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Duff asks if what is the first oh shit moment you ever had with a TV show? Like, can you remember the first time a TV show as a kid was like, whoa?
It's very graphic.
Okay.
Nobody brought up Oz.
Oh, God.
So there were 3 shows that my brother, my dad, and I would watch every episode together. Mm-hmm. It was X-Files, Simpsons, or not Simpsons, sorry. X-Files, Lost, and Oz.
Wow. I thought you were just watching X-Files for the first time.
I am. My dad and I watched the first like 3 or 4 seasons.
Oh, okay.
And then remember I told you when it moved days?
Oh, right. You couldn't watch it anymore.
It like moved days, and then we
They
fucked
fucked over
off.
X-Files so hard. Anyway,
Yeah.
Continue. Oz.
Oz is the most gritty HBO prison show of all time, but the prison is like very experimental in this show. It's not like a normal prison. People like walk around. It's like, it's weird. And there's a scene where a guy is making another guy go down on him, and the guy bites down hard. Yeah, it was insane. I remember going to my friend's house for like sleepovers and like showing them that.
This ruined me. You have to see it too.
Insane.
I need to shatter your innocence as well.
Insanity.
How old were you when you watched that? The pieces are falling into place here.
Yeah, like 9 or 10. Yeah, 8, 9, 10. 7 to 10. 7 to 10.
That's
for
a good
sure.
one.
Insane. Insane. I'll never forget it.
I can't
The way he
think
spits
of
it out.
He spits it out. Well, I mean, I guess otherwise, what are you going to do? Swallow it?
It's insane.
Wow.
Oz,
Could you
though.
do that?
Really
Could a
good
person
show.
do that? Bite it off? We don't need to talk about it.
You'd have to have like sharp teeth.
Yeah, I feel like that would not be easy.
Yeah. When he spits it out, it's not like the whole thing gets spit out. It's like a piece of flesh. Like flesh gets spit out.
Stop it.
Oz, dude. J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons in there.
Is Jeffrey Wright in that
Breakout.
show?
No.
I saw Oz.
Ernie Hudson's in there.
Oh, Ernie
J.K.
Hudson.
Simmons. The dude who does like the insurance commercials.
Oh, yeah.
The one who's like, you keep people away from dangerous
Allstate.
people like me. Oh, yeah. One of those.
Or the Mayhem guy?
Yeah, the Mayhem guy. Yes.
White guy?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Mayhem
He's
guy.
in there. Yeah.
Matt, do you have a oh shit moment that you can recall?
Yeah, I mean, it probably won't pull us out of the plane.
Sounds
Crash
like the end of
into
the
the
episode.
But yeah, for me, it was like I was watching Kids in the Hall when I was in elementary school. And Kids in the Hall is that Canadian sketch show. And they're amazing. They're just like...
Did you clean the gun, son?
Yeah. They're just like alternative to Saturday Night Live. Like a lot dirtier, a lot cooler, like just a punk rock version of that. And I loved it. Like I would stay up really late at night, and I don't think my parents knew I was watching it, and I don't think they would have allowed it if they did know I was watching it. And they were so weird and so inventive and so anarchic. And then they had Scott Thompson, who is a gay guy doing monologues as a queer character on there, and that was pretty rare at the time for TV shows in general. But especially like sketch comedy. And then he had some skit about masturbating, and I had never heard that word before. And I looked it up in the dictionary, and it said self-abuse was one of the definitions. It gave other more clinical definitions of what it was. And so it kind of described what it was. And I was like, oh my God, that's self-abuse. And I was like, that's what I've been doing to myself. And then I was like, oh, that's what, there's a word for it. And like, that's what I've been doing. Oh my God.
I'm bad. I'm inherently bad. Oh, God hates me.
So that was a oh shit moment, I guess, from TV. So thank you, Kids in the Hall. But
That's
Kids gonna make us 3 for 3, Isla.
Kids in the Hall.
3 for 3 with the dick memories.
Okay, let me think. Well, Matt's story made me think of learning the word masturbation and the word vagina from my friend Charlie in elementary school, and I didn't believe him. I was like, nuh-uh, that's not what it's called. I can't think of one, especially not a dick-related one.
It doesn't have to be.
I like that question. If I think of one for next month, I'll mention it. All right, last but not least, here's Super Sushi. He says, I've watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, and I have to admit that Huber was right. I did a disservice to that movie and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise in general by not watching it in the cinema. I regret my words and deeds.
It's all right. Better late than never.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
it's
it.
So good. It's so good.
It
Turtles
feels
are
weird
everywhere
not
right
to have
now.
any shout outs for anybody.
Shout out to
Shout
the
out
turtles.
everybody, dude. Shout out to everyone on our Patreon.
Yeah.
Thank
Shout
you
out
so
to everybody.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
I
That
know
place is
we're-
fun. The Discord is a good place to hang.
Oh, the
I
Discord
like
is
that
great.
place.
I like just going through these comments and going through Discord, and like the vibes of reaction shots are just so jolly, and it makes me feel so happy, and I really like that we get to do this. And yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of it. And if you are not a part of it and would like to be a part of it, patreon.com/easy or not patreon.com/reaction shots. Check out patreon.com/easy allies too. Huber and I still work there, and it's sick. But patreon.com/reaction shots, $3. That's it. That's all we got. You get in on the Discord and in on the conversation. And this month I got every single comment in there. I tried to do that. I tried to organize it a little better this time. I think it flowed a lot better. So I'm going to try to always do that if I am able. But yeah, we're going to have a little more news next month, I think.
we are.
Hubie and I are going to collate that. Matt, if you come up with any stories.
Collating.
You can put them. I made a news channel in the Discord, so just puke them in there too if you want to hold them for yourself. Yeah. Anything else before we sign off, fellas? That's it.
I got nothing.
Watch The Prisoner.
Thank heaven for TV.
I really want to watch The Prisoner.
Everybody
just
go
want
watch
it.
The
I think
Prisoner.
that every time you bring it up, I wanna
Watch the
that
YouTube
shit.
trailer for The Prisoner, and you'll feel something enjoyable.
the vibes.
from it.
You'll realize all the things that you've seen riff on The Prisoner, and you've never known that they were riffing on The Prisoner.
That's
Because
crazy.
it's
It'll blow my mind.
so many things.
I'm not a number. I'm a free man.
I'm not a number. Yeah. Also, we need to finish Patriot at some point in our lives. I love that fucking show. Huber, you need to watch it. It's great. All right.
Straight up.
Next month, we don't know what we're doing yet, but we're going to do something.
Or
We were
some
talking
Oscars
with,
shit.
Yeah, probably some Oscars shit. We were talking with Tokyo Slim that we need to do like a Paul Verhoeven thing once his new movie comes out, whenever that is.
Oh yeah,
But that'll
Especially
probably be
Starship
in it.
Troopers is hot right now because of
Starship Troopers
Helldivers.
is hot right now, so we could talk Verhoeven next month. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll post that kind of the middle of the month for everyone in the Patreon, so you can put your comments in. And we will see you again. Sorry this episode was a little late this month because this is February's episode. I was out of town and then Hebrew was out of town. So yeah, usually we come out last Friday of the month. So a few days late. All right. Thank you and bye-bye.